All right, so at a good point to start this video, I am working on a 2007 Toyota Corolla. I've been searching for a leak on this car, a vacuum leak, and so I'm going to go through the steps of testing that I did, and we're going to pinpoint whether it's the fuel cap, or the filler neck, and see if we can get to the bottom of this. But the story on it is that I had originally bought an oil ring replacement for the cap for the OEM one, and I was getting a bunch of smoke coming out this thing here. So I had replaced it and it failed on me. And then I decided to buy an OEM one online and match the parts, and they look exactly alike. And as you can see right here, getting a lot of what looks like gas. Yep, smells like raw gas. And rather than doing the most common thing I see being done, which is like buy a third one, the assumption is that the fuel filler neck is the issue. And yeah, don't worry, you get plenty of videos on how to remove the wheel, so I'm not going to cover that. But from the looks of it, it could be leaking from right here at that seal, and I think that's what's going on. But nonetheless, just so you guys can get an idea on how to remove this cover here on a 2007, it's as simple as starting right here. There goes one, which is right across the way from the rim, and then a couple of degrees above that, 2 and 3. So one off to the left, one directly above, and then one at the 11 o'clock angle. And those are 10 millimeter bolts that you could remove. But just a friendly warning, if you haven't done this, it is very dirty. So now I got a mess to clean up. And if you're moving this directly under there, you may not want to do that. So just a heads up. All right, you guys. So the next step is pretty simple. You're going to want to hook up a battery maintenancer directly to the battery, because the next step that we're going to be taking and hooking up the smoke machine, it's going to use the battery 12-volt source, and of course that means that's going to put a load on the battery and potentially drain it out. So the next step, after you get positive, red to red, black to green on mine, which is negative, just make sure that you're hooking up the plus with the plus and the minus with the minus. Simple rule there. For the 2007 Toyota Corollas, this is probably one of the simplest vacuum lines I've ever seen, which it's not a bunch of crazy hoses like I've seen on the 2006 recently. And you're going to want to pull out that vacuum line from here, which is going to go straight down to the bottom, turn into this middle piece here, which makes it diagnosing a lot more easier, and then it goes all the way to the back of this canister over here. Let's see if I can get to it. Where are you? There we are. That canister right here, which it's so hard to do. Where are we at? See if I can get some light on here. It doesn't want to do it in this mode, but there's a line that goes from right here. If you follow that, it starts connecting to your canister, and then going to the fuel tank right here. So nonetheless, we're going to keep an eye on this, make sure that we're not losing smoke from here to here. Where is that? Yes. It's right there and all the way up. So right about there and out through here. All right, so the next thing we're going to want to do is remove these screws, which I've already worked on this before, and I knew I was going to have to come back to this, and didn't tighten them all the way down. It's just a cover, nothing dangerous. Nonetheless, I've also lost a screw working on this, so I only have 3. You're gonna have 4. Oops. All right, bam. Next thing, you're gonna want to take this off, get it out the way. And what you're gonna want to disconnect here is this red clip. Pop that off, and then you're gonna want to pull this back right here, and then you're gonna want to plug that hole up, which luckily my smoke machine came with a few plugs. So let's go ahead, I'll do that in a bit. All right, so I got the plug. I believe this is the one that should fit. So we're gonna go ahead. That one's just too small. Let's see. Here's a little thicker one. Bam. All right, now that's plugged up, preventing any smoke traveling from the canister, going up this way and getting through the actual fuel pump itself. So now the only way in is going to be through the actual evap canister, which I also know that my evap canister is stuck open and not completely blocking off the smoke. So I know that also has to get replaced, but that's a different story. For now, we're going to focus on stopping the leak at the fuel neck. All right, you guys, I'll catch up with you once I'm done plugging everything up. All right, so looks like a pretty crazy setup, but nonetheless, it's very simple. Battery maintenancers on top, making sure that they don't short out with this guy here, which I got off Amazon here, Mr. Car Tool. I think I seen the price originally go for about $200, and I ended up getting this on a steal for $130. And so far I've been pretty content with it. Nonetheless, I hooked up the hose, and we're going to be connecting it to here. And yeah, let's get to it. So pretty simple setup. We're going to hit start on that. I didn't add any liquid on it because I've been actually adding a whole bunch recently, and I just want to see how this thing will react, if it warns me, if it's low. But nonetheless, as you can already see, there's smoke coming out of this, a good amount. So I feel like there's plenty in this thing if it's throwing out dark smoke like that. And I'm actually gonna plug it up through here. And things that you want to keep in mind as you're doing this is that your line right here, oh, bad camera guy, I know, but that right there, this hose should not have any cracks in it, and this one does, so they need to get replaced. Nonetheless, I'm not leaking from here. And what I like about this smoke tester is that it's going to give an alarm if you're low on fluid and the coil inside starting to heat up. So you immediately got to shut that off and dump something in there to try to cool that off. But as well as it has this gauge here that if For example, if I had perfect vacuum, it's actually going to build up and start to rise up here. And of course, there's a lot of pressure building in that when that occurs. And you want to make sure that you relieve that pressure before it becomes too much and things either pop off from your setup over there, or you possibly damage something else in the process. But that's about enough time, I would say, for this to essentially be smoking, and that is my result that I have here. That's on there pretty good. Want to make sure that my plug is working. Plug is working, of course. Again, pulling that off. See if you guys can see the smoke. So even when I hook up my Octel and command the solenoids to open and close, I'm getting a bunch flowing through here, and it should not be flowing through there. So nonetheless, we come to here, and I know this is leaking, which is the main objective I'm trying to fix. And then you can see all of that on the bottom. See if we can zoom in there. Which I actually see, I'm getting some through that hole. And I think that is to relieve pressure from there. All right, so I broke out the new filler neck here, and what I'm gonna attempt to do, I put the new gas cap on here, and looks like it got the same tad bit same layout. We're gonna see if this one actually throws any smoke from here like the original one does over there. So I'm gonna have to get a little bit creative, probably plug this up, and then I'm gonna move this around because I see it slides up and down, and see if it's actually able to retain the smoke from escaping there. And if it breaks out through this port, I do have a plug I'm gonna throw onto that, and yeah, let's see if it works. All right, about to turn on my machine, make sure the thing starts to smoke. Light smoke coming out. All right, now it's really pouring. So I'm gonna stick my special adapter there. Right off the bat, I already get some smoke coming out here from the top. Nothing from that secondary port. So as you can see, that thing is smoking up really well. And as you can see, nothing coming out from here. Even if I slide this up or down. So I'm gonna plug that up with my thumb alone. I can hear my machine. And I can see this starting to work. I can hear that relieving pressure. I let go. Okay, I let go. And I can lightly see smoke coming out. Where it's heavily coming out on this section. So what happens if this slides down? Do I get that to open up at all? No. I don't know. Oh, yeah, a little bit, not much. All right. I'm gonna set this up so you guys could see, once I cover that up, how that gauge will start to kind of build until that canister or that filler neck opens up and I can hear it releasing pressure. So I got a bad filler neck, and mine's just releasing way too much too fast, and it's not storing anything. There I go, relieving it. All right, so we got some work to do. All right, well, now we know that this one here is no good and it's not holding pressure. I don't have, well, I do have the manual, but the manual isn't telling me exactly how to move this. So my assumption is that I have to break this to loosen them up from the side. But I have a strong hunch that unless I get this one out, this really isn't going to relieve all that pressure. Nonetheless, I'm going to break it. I'm going to attempt it and see if I could do it the easy way. But looking at this one here and how this is kind of hanging onto it, again, I assume this goes to the bracket because I just removed this side here. And I got a feeling that we won't be able to do much unless I get that guy, which is reversed. Engineering at its finest. All right, I am missing a couple of sockets nonetheless. The famous 12 has escaped me, and I ended up going to Harbor Freight and actually getting this one here. And the offset is going to be way too short for that top one. And just enough space for the bottom one. Alright. So I'm going to need a 12 socket, and I don't have it in 3/8. So I'm going to go. I'm going to. Alright. I'm going to use this here and this here. That's what I love about investing in tools, so that I could pop the other socket that didn't fit, downsize it, and get it onto this. Now I still need to replace sockets because that's annoying. It stresses me out when I don't have the right tools in the right spot, and that's what happens when you loan them to Dad. Though it's not his fault, it's my fault. I gave it to him in the first place. Alright, now we're going places. Alright. Don't want to hit my car, so I'm going to lock that at a different angle. These brackets should be loosened up now. That's only good. There we go. Pop. I'll make sure I keep everything organized so I'm not mixing things up. Oh, that's dirty. Alright. Cannot pop that clip off. We are trying to remove this from here. And that looks like it also needs to be replaced. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to grab a tool for that, and then we got to aim it up top and get this out the way and start exchanging stuff. All right. Ooh, don't want to damage you when you're in an awkward spot. See if I get that. So, anybody that's working on this vehicle, you're going to want to get that little guy right there hanging on to it. And I think that's going to be maybe a 10. We'll see. Gonna get a 10 in there and see if that loosens that up. All right, so after discovering there was a hose clamp, had to actually get the socket, the right socket, 12 millimeter, and make sure I'm not tightening it. Gonna break the bolts on here and loosen up that bracket. And oh shit! Try to get to that a bit more easier. Ooh, I don't know if that's good. That didn't feel good. Okay. Thought I broke the bolt for a second. And that's why I got power tools. Don't struggle when you got tools. Just struggle to get to them because you forget every once in a while that life could be easier. All right, something I want to do so I don't forget their spots is that once I start pulling things out, I want to get these back into their proper spots so that I don't lose them. And that goes for the bracket up top as well. But now I can pop this down a little bit more and get to that there with my wrench. Yep. Set up to loosen. Oh, it's going to be one of those unless I pop you out. Let me see if I can start to lower this. Huh. All right. Definitely not having success getting to that, so I'm going to get my smallest 10 millimeter. Oh, I have a huge mess to clean up. And I actually really do like this socket here, this drive. It's the only one I actually bought from Snap-on that I will say has never failed getting into tight spaces. From time to time, I probably fail it more than it fails me. Oh yeah, I just love how much it cranks in all these little tiny spots. Okay, that's loosened up. Get me a rag because I can smell nothing but gas. Oh, and I can see it. So I hope it just doesn't start pouring out like crazy because I didn't depressurize the system. But why should I if it's losing? Ooh, ooh. All right, I'm gonna stop here because I could feel liquid coming from there. So that means I probably got to drop it on one side and get this really up high to prevent any fluid loss. Yeesh. There goes the fluid. Okay. All right. So even after me lifting this thing up as high as I could and offsetting it, all the way going to the passenger side, this thing still feels pretty freaking full, and I do not have anything to capture the liquid that would potentially come out of this tank. So I think I'm at a standstill right now, and just be aware. Again, I'm doing this without any procedures and just kind of seeing how far I could get and then tackle it one at a time, but this is definitely a roadblock. All right, you guys, just a quick disclaimer, do not attempt this at home. We are about to find out what could go wrong. And so what I ended up doing yesterday, I was at Harbor Freights and I bought this 7-gallon tank to, or what do you call these, tray, to work on my Monte Carlo. But it's never been used before, and I'm actually going to use it now. And my goal is to use this cap that I got from that smoke machine I was showing you earlier, and see if this will stop the gasoline from escaping. Give me enough time to hopefully swap out a new filler neck without losing too much gas. I don't know how much pressure this thing is going to have, so we're going to be as careful as we can. And hopefully we don't lose too much. I think what I want to do, in attempts to slow down this pressure, I'm going to pinch the very back end as much as I can, clamp onto it. I hope to slow it down. As much as I can, which I doubt it will work, but we will see. Oh boy. Nervous. Probably wise that you get yourself a fire extinguisher like I have right here next to me. Just gotta get up and grab that. Make sure I have that plug with me. Oh shit. Almost spilled. Okay, not too bad, not as bad as I thought. I am spilling though, and that cap did not work. Remove these gloves that now are soaked with gas. Let's see if the smaller one works. All right, success. It's plugged. And it's slowed down. That's all I want. Just enough time to pull you out. Oops. Oops. What did I break? I It panned out better than what I thought. And slowed it down with a pair of hose clamps and a plug that I got from that smoke machine, and I was able to loosen this up, pop that off, almost ready to go, except we got to deal with these lines now, which got to figure out how to remove that here, and at the same time remove those. So that's the next step, and hopefully I can do this without damaging anything. Alright, you guys, after 30 minutes of fighting with this stupid thing, I managed to disconnect this, which was just as you see right here, facing towards the tire. Had to pop up this yellow clip up, does not come out all the way, and but I was able to rotate it enough to where you see this green tab on each side. I had to pinch that in by hand, slide my hand underneath and pop it out with as much force as I could, and it took me forever to figure that out. Now we'll see what we could do here with this next one. It doesn't look like it has a clip. Okay, so ideally, I think if this was not so brittle, you would be able to pinch these tabs here on the side, which would essentially open that up, I assume. But looks like I'm going to need to get some sort of key or object in there and try to pry that open on both sides. All right, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you guys. I did not realize how tough or difficult this job would be, but luckily I've got some mechanic experience in me, and have invested in the right tools here. Now this is officially ready to come out, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna see if I can get this thing out right now. And hopefully have no issue with it. Bam! Out with the old. And I see we're gonna need this pipe. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna take this to the test right now, and we'll compare. All right, now that I put all the clips and brackets on the new filler cap, I actually had to remove the metal pipe right here. Make sure that's going in there all the way. Yeah, I had to remove this piece here. This one was to the old filler cap. Threw that back on there. And now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna stick it back in that hole and then reconnect everything I was struggling with. Put it all back together, test it, and then let the smoke clear out, and then fire it up and see what type of readings I was getting, which I should say that long-term fuel trim was at 3.9% at idle. Stepped on my gas pedal, wide open throttle, and would get about 15.6, something like that, percent on the long-term fuel trim. And short was still able to make it a 0, but nonetheless, rough idle is the reason why I'm doing this. All right, hopefully very simple stuff. Get this back in there. We're gonna start reversing the sequence and getting everything connected, hopefully with no issues. Or minimal issues, because there's always issues. We're gonna pop this thing back in. Come on, baby. What's going on here? Oh, how I hate this light. It can never stand on its own. All right. Come on, baby. It's just a pushback. You would think this would be somewhat easier. There we go. Nope. Oh, I was so happy. Thought I had it. Oh, yeah. That felt good. That felt like the click I wanted to hear. There we go. All right. That is back in. And I'll adjust it from the top in a moment. Next, we're going to go ahead and grab this guy tucked back. And then again, it's all reverse. Push this back in there. Cool. It's locked. Locked. Clip this yellow piece back down. Lock it in. Oh, yeah. All right, after fighting with it for some time, I was able to get the lines in properly, and they are on there tight, of course. No aftermarket part will fit like the OEM, and I had to sacrifice a bracket, as this tends to kind of bend extremely out the way. I was able to get at least this one on here, and as you can see, way different layout compared to my original one. So after doing that, finally got this back up on there. Hopefully I was able to get a good shot. Nonetheless, it's going back on there, and now I'm going to get the bracket coming across, locking this in. See if it's even worth throwing in the mud flap on there, and then slapping on the wheels, and then smoke testing it, see what results I get. All right, here we go. Making sure this thing doesn't throw any smoke out through this direction. Give it a second. Oh, crud. So we're still smoking from there. Not leaking anywhere else, only from there. Okay, I had the top hose loose. Nonetheless, this is exactly what I kind of want to see. Your fuel tank filler neck should be able to relieve some pressure as a backup mechanism. Nonetheless, this is a lot better than where it originally was, and it's exactly what I wanted to see. So now that I got everything up over here connected, You're not seeing any leaks, any visible leaks. Now it's time to come up in here. All right. Actually, before I do that, open the gas cap, allow the old smoke to come out. Same thing, I'm gonna unplug this guy here and allow whatever smoke was in here to clear out just for a bit. And then I'm gonna go ahead, I do not see anything. Good. Plug that back in. Right about there, cool. Then clip this back on and put it all back together, and we're gonna start it and hopefully no fuel leak. And let's see if I'll use my old data scanner and see if we did anything to our vacuum system. Started up the car. No leaks. Good. Good. And we are looking good. All right. I'm gonna go ahead, let the car warm up. Throw the wheels on it, torque it down, clear everything out the way, and then jump on Blue Driver and see if those numbers changed. I'll get back to you guys in a bit. I'm gonna take it out for a quick spin. Bear with me in this noisy car. So I'm stopped. Just rolling up my windows has some sort of effect on it. Yeah, it honestly also may be a timing issue, but when I look at it, timing looks okay. Even though I'm not looking at it right now, in the past I have. Let's see. Still getting backfire. Oh man, I did notice 16.9%, which it seemed like it actually got leaner. Be honest, the throttle felt a lot better. It felt more responsive, more power. Yeah, that did something. Hopefully I see it with the gas mileage that it's not losing any more fuel, and it actually starts to slow down. we know that pops on this car is from a vacuum leak or a lean condition. false unknown pops to occur from lack of timing. Alright, I think that's all I have for today. Nonetheless, I'm able to fix the fuel filler neck. I'm going to clean up a little bit, close up my garage, and take this for a full pull. Catch you guys on the next one. Alright, just a few more things before I wrap up this video here with the editing. I did get some codes to pop up, pending codes that are eventually going to turn into full-blown check engine lights. And I actually had suspected this for quite some time with the diagnosing I was doing. Nonetheless, I was not getting the check engine light, and as you know, evap canisters are very expensive replacements. That's why I wanted to do the filler neck first. Nonetheless, the filler neck was replaced. I was able to seal the tank, and it looks like the computer was able to do its proper testing. And only once I did that did these pending codes pop up. I forgot to take a screenshot for the freeze frame. Nonetheless, I know based off the smoke that I was getting into the fuel tank and some of the stuff that I'd done with the Autel, that my canister was stuck open or stuck closed and needs to get replaced. So I just thought that was pretty odd for the Toyota because, again, I was actually with my cousin looking at a 2006 Toyota Corolla, and he was getting, I think, retarded timing, and no check engine lights were popping off besides multiple misfires, which was a huge red flag and a sign, to be honest. But yeah, I'll go ahead and on the next video, I'll end up showing you guys how to do the evap canister. Nonetheless, I hope this was some good info sight to smoke testing and working on your Corolla. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.